What's with all these shoulds and shouldn'ts? I'm Tara. I'm a holistic and spiritual coach. I help people uncover beliefs that no longer serve them. Unearthing these beliefs allows for more peace, freedom, and ease in life. Let's see what you think. See if you can answer these questions. Well, they're not really questions. It's just fill in the blank. What would you put in these blanks? The world shouldn't be... People shouldn't... People should... What should people do? My body should be... How should your body be? My body shouldn't be so... My kids should... And my kids shouldn't. My income should be... My bills shouldn't... My landlord should... My parents should... Should what? My mom should... Yeah, what should your mom do? My dad should... What should your dad do? My boss should just... My teacher shouldn't... Those teachers. My siblings should... And my siblings shouldn't... What shouldn't your sibling do? Yeah, what would you put in these blanks? You want to hear it again? Replay it. It's only a few seconds. Where did you come up with all these shoulds and shouldn'ts? I only asked a few, but you're shoulding and shouldn'ting everywhere in your life. Things should be some other way. The way they are is not okay. I'm frustrated by the way these things are. They should be another way. I'm anxious about the way things are. They should be another way. This is like your world of expectations, you know? And expectations being unmet leads to disappointment and upset and frustration and anger and all kinds of feelings. So where did you get this world of expectations that you're living in? You probably didn't make it up. That's the thing, is you probably didn't come up with it on your own. You heard it somewhere and decided to use it because it's what was being done in your life at that time, and it just stuck. You saw it in media somehow, like in movies or TV shows, or on the news. The news told you, or some other source, or it was happening with somebody that was important to you and you decided that was going to be important for you too. And for the things that work, keep them. And the things that you truly believe in, keep them. But for the ones that really don't matter, let's start letting those go. It'll be really a lot more peace in life if you can identify them and let them go. So I'm going to share a little bit to kind of help you see that. There's some that come like in society. They just come with society. And here's some kind of old examples, but I think they are still alive. Don't put your elbows on the table when you're eating. Don't smack your food when you're eating. Eat quietly. Turn the lights off when you leave a room. A lady always crosses her legs. A gentleman always holds the door. And on those two, it's very interesting because if you don't cross your legs, then you must not be a lady. There's like a whole world that comes with that one. And as a man, if you don't hold the door, you're not a gentleman. You're some other kind of man. I don't know what kind, but there's an implication that comes along with some of these. Like if you do these things, right? You're not a lady if you don't cross your legs. You're not a gentleman if you don't offer your jacket if the lady is cold. Shoulds and shouldn'ts. My wife and I were recently talking about elbows on the table. I was like, why is that a thing? Were you taught that? And she was like, yeah, totally. Don't put your elbows on the table. We don't say it to our kids, but we remember it. Yeah. Now, from movies, what is something that we could get? One that I have really noticed is, for a while, every woman in a movie, a major movie, had basically like bleach blonde perfect hair and a breast enhancement and thin. I think thin is still really, really big, very thin. Like, not unhealthy thin, but just like, kind of like always looking perfect in every part that an actress plays in, for example. And really, between the movies, she's probably enjoying life and eating some yummy food and maybe gaining a little weight and then losing it before her part. And it gives the illusion that she lives her life this way all the time, and that's probably not true. But then what we take from it is, we should look this way. And then for men, I watched it go from being thin and fit looking, not necessarily athletic, muscular, but just healthy looking thin back in movies in the 70s, to now, like so many men in movies, have to have a washboard stomach. That's very difficult to maintain in an ordinary life, like a non-famous life. And those guys are also, they're not 4% body fat their whole lives, most of them. Some might be, but for the most part, that's not a typical way to live. But we watch these movies and shows and see how people look and dress, and we might find ourselves trying to measure up against that appearance. And that's just not realistic. And it leaves people upset, you know? So how should your body be? My body should be something to look at. And where did you get the idea about how your body should or shouldn't be? And if you've gotten to the point of saying my body should be the way my body is, great, lovely. If you have a symptom in your body or an illness, then my body should be the way my body is, and there's this symptom or this illness that I would like to address. That's a form of acceptance. We don't ignore it, we don't push it away, we recognize there's something to deal with. And we're accepting the existence of this thing that we would like to deal with. And how does the news tell us how we should be? So during the 2020 pandemic, the news told us that we should be scared and we should be in a frenzy. That's a world of should and shouldn'ts. And each person has to evaluate for themselves. Do I need to mask up to that degree? Do I need to avoid all of society? And each person has to answer those questions for themselves. Do we need to be in a panic and a frenzy? If we're making the right choices for ourselves, probably not. And how should your kids be? And how shouldn't they be? And where did you get the criteria for that? I'm seeing a lot of parents out there doing things differently. And I have to say, I like what I'm seeing. I saw a mom say, no, my kids aren't doing sleepovers. And probably everyone around her is like, why wouldn't you let your kids sleep at somebody else's house? It's fun. It's what they do when they're 10 or 12 or whatever age they do that. And she has her reasons. You should let your kid do a sleepover. They're missing out. Are they? There's lots of reasons not to, but I'll let you decide. And then what your kids should do, like how they should behave. Be quiet. You're being too loud. Is that coming from the need to be quiet? Like, do you need some peace and quiet in your own house for you? Or are you telling your kids they should behave a certain way because it's how you were told to behave when you were younger? Where did the criteria come from? That's the big thing, is like, where did it come from? And if you like your criteria and it's what you believe in, then that should is just perfectly fine for you. It may not be perfectly fine for people around you. And so where did it come from? Why do you want that criteria? And do you want it? Do you still want to live by this criteria, or is it time to change things? There's lots of places to look. How people should dress at work, how they should look at work, how people should treat each other. There's a lot of shoulds and shouldn'ts out there, and many of them are not serving you. And if they're not serving you, is it time to let them go? So how can you use this information in your life? Let's look at an example. Let's say you're getting dressed in the morning and you're going somewhere and there's a certain kind of clothing that you want to wear. Ask yourself, why is this the clothing that I want to wear today? And see if that can lead you to your choices and the criteria that you have for why you're making this choice about this clothing. And it may reveal nothing, and it may reveal something. What else? The foods that I should eat. Why am I eating this food? What are the reasons? Is there a should or shouldn't here that is impacting my choices around this food? And then where did that come from? And do I align with it? Do I still align with this should? Is the way you're eating directly related to the way your body should or shouldn't be? And is that should or shouldn't about your body still appropriate for you? And where did it come from? That would be the thing. And I can't tell you where your criteria for your shoulds and your shouldn'ts, your expectations, I can't tell you where that criteria came from. But I can tell you that none of it was created by you. It's something that someone else told you or taught you, you saw, and you adopted for yourself at some point in your life where you wanted to have this criteria or thought that you should have this criteria. And does it still serve you? If it does, keep it. See you next time. Thanks for watching.